Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to AFO Radio. I am Mag, and that's my co-host Darren Tay from An Honest Mistake. Now, his surname is not okay, just in case you're wondering, AHM spells No, it isn't. He's from An Honest Mistake. Now, of course, I'm sure you know who he is. If not, I think you may want to go Google him. Yeah, but in the meantime, this is Pop On Stage, where we bring you a host of local music. Okay, we preview quite a number of local tracks that have been released in the past week, and we also feature a guest artist on the show to let you know what's going on in their lives and what is the new release that they've just dropped. Also, the challenges that they face actually putting that whole thing together, because let's face it, it's not an easy task. As much as you think, oh, it's easy, ma, just to go up there, be famous, sing a song, I also can do. No, I cannot do for sure. Okay. Exactly. So we're going to get down to the stories in just a bit, but let's kick it off with our bulletin board this afternoon. What do we have, Darren?
Exactly, that's right. So right here on the show, we play you all the local stuff, the latest releases, and this week we actually have a bunch of new releases, and you can check them all out on a playlist that I've made called New Malaysian Releases on Spotify. And right now it's got like over 200 songs now. So, we started like collecting them from January this year. So yeah, let's check a couple of them out this week. We have a couple of really, really new ones. So this first one is by Irina Namara. And she's been consistently putting out music every other month. And she's gone full on. And this new one is called Another Sad Movie. All right. Check it out. It's really cool. Kind of a slow start, but it's cool.
It's another sad movie playing on the screen. A respectable man gets caught in infidelity. She loved him too much to think it would end this way. And now she leaves to catch a train to nowhere. In tears she says, "Lynch me, this can't be happening. Tell me, where did I go wrong that I had to be cheated on? Wake me up if it's a bad dream, 'cause it's hard to leave when the one you love the most hurts you the worst."
Cool, what a cool track. I mean, like, I was just talking to her day before yesterday, telling her how cool this track is, and how great of a songwriter she is. And what do you think about that, Mac?
I like the last line though.
Yeah,
the
cool,
one
right?
where it really pierces through you, isn't it? It's like It's hurtful when the one you love the most hurts you the most, kind of thing. It's like, wow, how true is that? But she is a really good songwriter. I have to say that about her. And the way she does things, it makes it seem so seamless and so effortless. So I gotta give it up to Irina though.
Alright, so this next one is by an artist from Borneo. I think he's from Kuching. So his name is Vox. He's an electronic producer. I've heard of him before, and he's really cool. So this is a new one called When You... Okay, hold on. Okay, it's a long title.
Oh, they're following in your footsteps, Darren.
Yeah, when you're coming back around. Very nice.
By the way, the reason I said that is because An Honest Mistake has long titles.
You've got me saying words in my head, filling my mind with these images, and it's the way that you look at me, makes me feel like I can't breathe. It ain't right, right, it ain't right, right, it ain't right. Oh no, it ain't right, right, it ain't right, right, it ain't right. Oh no, you're calling my phone.
Very cool track. I mean, it's a very nice electronic driven track. I like it a lot. It's very chill.
What's the name of the band again? Vox.
Vox, Vaux. Yeah,
Nice.
so
Very nice.
yeah, very cool. We definitely need more, producers that are like that. So yeah. Cool. All right. So this next one that we're gonna check out is by this guy named Aaron Teo. Okay, not Aaron, but Aerron. Okay, so this song's called Vibe. All right. I think it's a little bit of an indie pop track. So let's check this one out. Oh, he's from Kuching too.
You got me feeling really high. I do not really know why. I don't know why you gotta lie. You
Did you hear the bell?
been true. Come and say goodnight. Sing aloud.
All right, there's definitely more from him. I mean, like this song, I feel that is just gonna kind of like build. It starts off with like a guitar lick, and then comes in with the beat, and then his voice, and
It has a very dreamy, fantasy-like feel to the
yeah,
track,
exactly,
isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool. I like it. All right, this is next one. Okay, this last one before we get into the interview with our artist, our guest for today. This is called Thunder by Mother Wit.
Ooh.
Cool. Nice indie rock.
Find it hard to believe in all of the pastel colors that I see. I know it's all on the surface. Nobody knows what's behind the scenes.
Cool. It's a very nice indie rock track, and I'm sure it gets into like something a little bit bigger later on. But yeah, I mean that's all we have for you today for our bulletin board. But we definitely have more for you guys later on as well. But
That's right.
if you want to check these out, all these tracks are on a playlist that I've made on Spotify called New Malaysian Releases, which you should follow, okay? If this is your first time tuning in, watching this live video on AFO Radio, well, this is what you need to do. You need to follow that playlist, and you need to share this video and like it and tell your friends about this show, okay? Especially if you are an artist. All right, cool. So anyway, we've got our guests this week. They are a duo, electronic pop duo. They've been putting out music for a while now, but they actually started off as a band and then finally transitioned into a duo. They changed their style a little bit, and we're gonna find out more from them. So let's bring them on right now. Let's welcome Rakesh and Niralji from Monoriff.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Nice to catch up with you guys after about a year. How have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Besides being a year older, I think I've been lazing around a lot, which is good news. How have you been, guys?
We've been okay. Thank you for asking. Rakesh, what have you been up to?
Nothing much. Is it a year older or 2 years older, NJ? I think like once the pandemic
always
started.
pick the less one.
Yes, we do not want to accelerate our age.
Yes.
Oh my god! I just can't believe just like 2 years just go away like that, man.
It feels like, it was just like, completely stolen from us, isn't it? It's just
I know.
taken away.
Exactly.
At some parts it feels like it's given to us, or at least to me. Feel like
Yeah.
I'm forced to a corner. Now in this corner, I can make use of my time to do whatever I want.
Wow, I like the different perspective of life. Very positive, I see.
Niraji likes to see the glass half full. That's the thing about
Ah,
No,
Niraji.
that's a lie.
So you like to see it half empty lah.
Yes, exactly.
So
So
they're
so you're the pessimist, and then Nalji, you're the optimist lah.
yin and yang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I guess you can say that lah. In a lot of ways.
But I guess that's what makes it work, isn't it, for the both of you? Because to be in a band, if you're always, you always have the same opinions, it's gonna be difficult. You always need somebody to like bounce off things and disagree with you once in a while. No?
Okay. Yeah, true.
I
Never.
think it's very it's a give and take, right? It's always a give and take in any sort of relationships. It's always a compromise, and through the
Correct.
compromise, you find something special. You find something you've not thought of, a fresh perspective. So I think Rakesh and I have been having that and that's how we sort of change our style too, from like what Darren was saying earlier, 5 Ps to 2 Ps, and that flexibility is through a lot of compromise.
Yeah, and also being in a band is like a relationship. There's ups and downs. Sometimes you love each other so much. Sometimes you hate each other so much. Sometimes you just want your own space. You know what? I just need my own space and everything. It's more like that.
Rakesh always said that if I was a girl, he would date me.
I would have
So you know that there's that tendency lah, Rakesh.
So I've been social distancing, prior to it.
You also know that Niraji has, market value very high, lah.
wow.
Okay, you did say you need time apart from each other sometimes. I guess this past year and a half has given you that. So has it made it difficult or easier for the both of you to work together?
I mean, for me, it's weird. To be honest, like if I have to be real honest, it's a bit weird because I'm an extrovert. Niralji's an introvert, so he loves his space. That's why he said like I'm happy to be in the corner, and I'm the guy who's like always loves to check on him or like, hey dude, want to go for Teta Ray? And because I'm an extrovert, and so this pandemic is the weirdest thing that ever happened to me in my life. Like to be isolated from the world, to be isolated from everyone. Oh my god, it's hell. Man. It's really
I think
hell.
this space has sort of flipped us. Like what Rakesh was saying earlier, I was an introvert and he's an extrovert, but because of this isolation, it has pushed me to be a bit more extrovert. Like it brought up my survival sort of thing to speak out more and to be able to survive in this corner in some weird ways. And Rakesh is pushed to a corner and he's quietened down. So the dynamic has sort of flipped now. I'm a bit more talkative and Rakesh a bit more, sort of. But in the music sense, I think working together, it's always, since we've known each other for so long, right? Many years. So even now, not being physically together, like side by side and making stuff, I think we have an understanding. Like the goal is always to make good music and for people to just enjoy listening to us, whether they are fans or not fans or casual listeners. The goal is just to make good music. So if it sounds good, if the lyrics is fine, it's a good goal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. I just want to know something though. You guys, like you said, the dynamics have changed. You started off as a 5-piece, now you're down to 2. Will there be a possibility of Monoriff being solo, 2 separate artists someday?
Well, I think who is to say about the future? I mean, who is to say about this future, especially 2 years ago, who would have expected, right? So I guess it's the same for our personal journeys as well. As as a band and as individual artists as well, we have our own way of expressing ourselves. So I do see a possibility of not to say in a way disband, but us venturing to separate projects, passion projects, stuff like that. I think it's very possible.
It is like I mean, because like we do have like our own life and everything, so like I do love like a lot of things like interactive arts and everything, like projection mapping, 3Ds and everything, which I'm trying to venture. but yeah, like I do agree with the analogy. Like we'll never know what's going to happen in 2 months' time or 2 years' time, and I feel it's good to not to think about it or to dabble on that. Like I feel like what we need to do is just to focus on what we have right now, and if things change, it change. And like for example, like a lot of people has like 10 years of plans and 20 years of plans, and this pandemic truly proves that the nature don't care about it.
Yeah, no
Yeah, they
matter how
don't
much
give a
you
damn
plan, it's
about
just
your
gonna.
plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, I
just
mean
gonna mess everything up.
Darren should know that the best lah. You know,
Yeah.
he organizes shows and gigs and stuff. He's so active and everything is now sort of out of your control in some way, right? It's
It's crazy.
yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
been
but
benched.
yeah, I mean, but it's the most important thing is, to be able to maneuver in this, season. A lot of people have given up. A lot of people have either retreated and, like started like some nasi lemak business or something. Especially musicians, right? And a lot of musicians have sold their gear. I mean, like even I have sold some of my gear as well. But the reality of things is that you need to survive, and
Yep.
so no matter how great your plans are, looking at the way things are right now, it's taking every day one day at a time, because that's all you can do, and
That's all we can
seeing
do,
that,
exactly.
yeah, and seeing that, there's just so much debate about like vaccines and like ivermectin and all these things, and how there's the anti-vaxxers and all that kind of stuff, and with the current state of our country, I think it's best for us musicians to stick to what we do best, which is creating music.
Word. Amen. Absolutely. I agree.
Exactly.
But of course, like you said, everybody has to survive. So while you do make music, people do need to, provide that rice bowl to their families as well. So I understand, having to actually sell your stuff to go out and sell nasi lemak or whatever. You do what you do to adapt to the situation we're in right now, I guess.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of courage, to
It
do
does.
something completely different. Yeah, I know it's for survival, but all your life you're so used to doing a certain way, a certain thing, right? A craft that you have been developing over a series of years, and all of a sudden, you have to do something else. It's scary.
And
It's
also
stepping
like
out of the comfort zone that actually gets to you, isn't it? Because you're so comfortable making music. That's your passion. That's what you love doing, and that's what you're good at. And today you have to like pivot and say, okay, so now I've got to learn to make nasi lemak, or I have to go and sell burgers, something to actually just keep me afloat for a while. It's not an easy task at all.
what about like the ego inside of us? Like because like you are a musician, so you say like, okay, this is my art. I'm going to change the world with my art, and then now you have to strip away your ego and say like, you know what, I have to sell nasi lemak or flip burgers right now. So I feel that is the hardest thing for an artist to do, to strip away your
Absolutely.
ego. Yeah.
Talking about
Because
F&B, I might be working in a restaurant soon, so I'll be serving people drinks and stuff. Like, I take that as I think as musicians as well. It's sometimes a lot of times for me, it's not about the music. Music is just that medium of expression. It's the story behind the music. It's what you're
Exactly.
singing about. Or else, why bother putting stuff into lyrics? Like just sing gibberish, right? Just for the sake of melody. So the stories that you put forth comes a lot with what you experience as well. So I think for musicians who are trying out something different, like selling nasi lemak or doing all sorts of myriads of things, like just trying to get bread and butter solved, it actually adds to the experience. And when time gets hopefully better again, there'll be some flavor to add on to their music.
I have a story to share to you guys before we move on to the next part. Is that I have this one very famous producer. I'm not going to name him, but he was like in the beginning of pandemic, he was like, you know what, bro, I'm giving up on making songs and music, and everyone in the industry were like quite shocked because this guy, he's a good producer, and he said, I want to learn how to make chocolates, and he started selling chocolates, and it was doing so well, and I love his chocolate. I was buying his chocolates all the time. And then when business start to like now slowly the pandemic is like things are slowly opening up. There's a bit of like light at the end of the tunnel. I was asking him like, so bro, are you still selling chocolates? Like, nah, man, I'm going back to my first love, which is making music. But he said he's so proud of starting this like chocolate business because it gives him the freedom and also the break that he needed to restart and have a new set of mind to join back this music business again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I mean,
that's actually what I've been saying too. Like being in the pandemic is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, it's bad because like people are feeling frustrated. Like you can't go anywhere, you can't do shows, you can't do this and that. But as musicians, you have to be fluid. So. And it's kind of like a reset as well. It's a reset for me too. Just to kind of like sit back and ask myself like, am I really doing music like, the right way? Am I that like popular, or do people really want to listen to my music or what I have to say? Do my songs like, are they good? Do they speak to them or what? So it's kind of all these questions, put into perspective, and that's when you kind of like reevaluate yourself and like, okay, where am I at in my career as an artist? Am I starting out or what? Because like there are some artists who've been doing it for so long, and then come to the pandemic, they're like stuck. They don't know what to do, they don't know how to function. They just really break down and just cannot do anything at all. So it's kind of like right now it's to learn new stuff, upskill yourself, and improve, because that's kind of like the only thing that we can do, apart from making music. But it's also to learn new stuff, upskill, like could be chocolate making or whatever, but then get back to music, because then your mind kind of like refreshes, right? So
exactly.
Okay, so coming back to what you guys have said, this whole year and a half has given us a chance to pause for a little while, refresh our mind as well. But what about the two of you? What good impact has it done for the both of you? How has it helped you in terms of writing your music? How has it enriched your songwriting abilities or music producing abilities, whichever?
I think as a like again, this isolation has forced us to sort of rediscover things separately. So prior to this, it was as a band, or as we meet other people together. It was always more of a teamwork. And then now you're sort of split, physically wise, and you're forced to sort of like what Darren was saying, enhance your skills as musicians, or like for me personally, like in terms of my singing, like voice projection and techniques, which if not because of this pandemic, would have just overlooked, because I think I can sing, not great but not bad either. So it's good enough for the song. But now I realized I was doing myself disservice all this while, because I was not doing the proper technique, vocal breathing or vocal exercise, or just knowing like about chest voice and mixed voice and stuff like that. This things where a singer probably needs to know as basics, I didn't know. And if it's not for this pandemic, I would have discovered that. So that was my sort of milestone.
How did you discover it though? I mean, did you have to watch everything that you've produced or listen to everything that you've done and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this now? Or was it told to you by someone else?
It's a frustration. It's been a decade-long frustration. I've never believed that I could sing well. I've never believed that I am a good singer. So I always thought I always got away, maybe with some catchy melodies and some catchy lyrics for whatever concoction that is. And I just kind of got away. In pop, sometimes you can't get away not being the best singer. So I thought if you put me in acoustic and you strip me away, I'm going to just perform shit. So I've always had that insecurity, and Rakesh knows this. Before every performance, even when we perform at Darren's place, Urban Scapes, the last sort of big live show we had, or medium scale, I was super nervous, man. Like I was like super nervous because I didn't believe in myself. I'm like, I'm just gonna mess up the lyrics again, or I'm such a pessimist. So I've been a pessimist all my life, and then now the worst thing that can happen to humanity has happened in a way. Or at least after World War II.
For our generation, at least.
For our generation, at
Exactly,
least, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, in a single lifetime. And I'm like, okay, what more can I lose? How more of a loser can I be? You know. So that sort of snapped me. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I sang shit, but you can always learn your skill set. You can always improve your skill set, whether it's guitar playing, whether it's piano playing, and whether it's singing. So to all artists out there who feel like, you know, you're not the best singer, I'm not sure how many of you actually feel that or probably want to admit it, but I admit it. I suck as a singer, at least because I was trying to be someone else. I was trying to sing like someone else. I was trying to be another artist in some way, at least psychologically, subconsciously. But I told myself, like, I'm going to sing like how I talk. So I'm going to project myself. I'm going to be confident. And it's okay if I screw up here and there. Who gives a shit? As long as I know that I've been true to myself.
Yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, I mean, I completely agree. You know, I always think that it's very important, you know, for singers especially, you know, well, to be killer performers. You see, there's a big difference between, there's a big difference with artists in this era, you know, at least in the past 3, 4 or 5 years maybe. You know, people are constantly churning out music, you know, because of platforms like Spotify and iTunes and all these things. You know, people are just constantly churning out music, and then they've got all the streams. And I've said this a couple of times before on the show, that you can have all the streams, but if you can't perform live, you know, what's the point, right? So having a killer live show is absolutely important, you know. But at the same time, as a singer, you know, to feel all these, like, you know, shortcomings and all that, you know, that's kind of normal. You know, nobody's gonna show up and go like, okay, you know, I'm the best singer in the world. Yeah, maybe Mariah Carey lah, you know, but I'm sure she has her insecurities too, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Probably. Okay.
you know, practice is the most important thing. You know, like when I practice with the band, I practice what I'm going to say on stage as well, you know. And I know a bunch of other artists do that too. Like, for example, like Hello Lockman, you know, like he does that too with his band and stuff. And it's crazy because like during soundcheck, he'd be saying all the things that he would say like during the live set, you know. And I'm like, okay, this is weird because I've not seen this done during soundcheck. Because like, you know, if it's during practice sessions, sure, you know. But yeah, some people just do that, you know, and with a lot of practice and a lot of self-reflection and a lot of you know, like I guess you can record yourself, you know. These are all important things, you know, for you to eventually get over your fear of thinking that you suck as a singer. Because half the time, you know, you may think that way, you know, but other people would you know, think otherwise. Yeah. So
Don't
know,
you think
I mean-
that? Don't you think that a lot of artists have imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, like
no,
you guys
is
feel
that?
like you guys are not.
like you're
You guys know
not
what's
being
imposter
yourself,
syndrome is?
right?
No,
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
ask
not
what is
that.
it.
Okay, so
I know
imposter
what it
syndrome
is, but-
means- it's
Yeah, go
not
ahead.
not. So basically, imposter syndrome means like you feel like you're not good enough, although you have all the qualification, but you feel like you know, like I'm still not good enough. Like, so it's actually a real syndrome. A lot of people in our generation have that. So like we don't apply for a better job because we think like we don't deserve it. And I feel like a lot of artists, including me, I have very bad imposter syndrome. Like I can learn something in just a matter of days, and I still totally disregard what I've done. Like I still like, it's nothing. I'm doing it. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of artists have that issue. And also, I think you might have imposter syndrome because Darren, like, we saw how you perform live, and I mean, everyone loves your voice, but like, it's a thing that we have to.
But I feel
overcome.
sometimes imposter syndrome or not, sometimes these things are true. Sometimes, yes, insecurities, you can say like, I'm overthinking, or I'm being a perfectionist, I'm trying to get a certain standard in my head. But sometimes there are there is a truth to it, you know, there is a truth to it. Because as a musician, I feel sometimes the scope is too wide as a musician. What do you want to do? Producing, performing, or just singing for fun? You just want to get casual listeners, or you see yourself somewhere in 10 years? There's a lot of expectations that you put on your shoulders,
Exactly.
especially
Yeah.
as beginning artists, and how you want to live up to those expectations. And I'm at a point where I've let go of all those. I've learned to just embrace how I sound, how I feel about myself, And as cliche as that sounds, it works. It just works to connect with people easier. It just works to,
Yeah.
it improves your communication with people, not just the music sense, in any sense, with your family members. It just helps you to be yourself even more, which is a great value to the
But
art.
it's not something easy to do, though. Not many of us can actually accept ourselves for who we are and come to terms with, hey, I'm not as good as I think I am. So it's a
It
whole
takes a
process.
lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes
Exactly.
some people learn fast, but I think I'm a late bloomer personally. So the learning arch it's longer for
Yeah.
me lah.
I don't think it's just the learning arch. I think it's about the ego as well. Like Rakesh pointed out,
Definitely.
regardless
Yeah.
of what industry you may be in, if you think you're good at it, that ego grows with it, So to strip that away from us and say, hey, hold on, let me see where I lack and how I can improve. That's something not easy to come by, because I speak from my own personal experience as well. Because
Okay.
sometimes you watch yourself and go like, it's there, but it's like so hard to make that change. So, I gotta give it up to you for actually being able to do that. So good job,
Yeah,
man.
I think it's also like a conscious decision. Like a lot of things, it's being truthful to yourself as well. To be able to
Absolutely.
sit back and again, evaluate and say and be honest and say, okay, these are some of the things I need to improve on. How can I tackle them and consciously want to tackle them. Because there's some people who would go like, I don't think I'm that great of a guitarist lah. I suck lah. And then you never practice. You never try to
Yeah.
improve, right? And then you keep going on and on about how bad you are, and then it goes down in a spiral, right? So, it all goes back to, your desire and what you see yourself and how you see yourself and wanting to progress further, So if you see that this is something that's detrimental, to your like career at wherever point that you are, either you can drop. There are two things you can do. Either improve or drop out.
Yeah.
Drop out meaning don't do anything lah. So it really depends, right?
Don't
So
be in the
as
middle.
yeah, so it's either A or B, because you don't want to be in the middle. Because being in the middle is even worse, because then you're going nowhere. You're going in a circle, right? So that's kind of what it is, lah.
Man, cannot duduk atas pagar.
Exactly, definitely not. Yeah. So and especially with music, you have to be very very clear of what you want, and as an artist, you need to know where you're headed. Because if you have no direction, cannot, But if you see that, okay, if you want to reach like step number 10, but you're stuck at number 3, you need to find a way to break through so you can get to step number 4. So that's kind of what a person with goals should always have. I mean, you need to be very goal oriented. You can't be like, sulking and asking, I how come I'm not popular? How come I'm not famous? What are you doing? So these are all the questions lah, But anyway, I mean, we don't want to go on and on about
conversation that we've had so far. I love
Yeah.
the fact that we started with Niralji being very positive, and then he turned around and said that he's been pessimistic all his life. It's like, whoa.
yeah.
So we've spoken at length about so many things and our opinions about life and how things have
Exactly.
changed for us, but we've taken it and made it work for each and every one of us. Now,
Yeah,
you guys have been releasing music consistently this year, so tell us about that journey.
Rakesh, take this.
So the reason why we are able to release music consistently is because like we always have like problems with mixing and mastering, like because it's it's Darren, man, mixing and mastering it's pain. So like we managed to get ourselves like signed to Breaking Music. It's a label. I guess you guys know about them. Hi Isaac. And they agreed to help us with the mixing and mastering part, and also help us to plan with an EP. So like heads up, we are coming up with an EP mid-October. Yeah, Meg, I think you will like it.
I can't wait.
Thank you. So yeah, like so with a very good system, with a very good support system, with like what Evan said, planning and strategizing and everything. We have released 3 songs in this year, and we are coming up with another one single, and then a EP by mid October. And inside that EP, there's 5 songs, and we have already named our EP. It's called Fantasy. Um, so yeah, so we are figuring out. We're not figuring out, but we are in the process of like this journey, and we we have the.
So this
Anyway,
is
where's the next?
Yeah, so this is pretty much like gonna be your first EP, as Monoriff, because like in the past you've released like like tracks, you've released like
Yeah.
singles, so this is kind of something for you guys as well. Because before you became a duo, well, you guys didn't really have anything out, right? So with this, I think now. This is how I equate things. When you are able to put out an EP, that's when you kind of like qualify, like, okay, now I am a true artist, because you can put out a million
that.
singles, right? You can put out a million
Hey,
singles,
that's not fair.
No. I mean, that's
Didn't know
how,
that.
that's how I equate things. Because like when I
Okay.
first started making music, I didn't just put out like 1-2 songs. I came out with a 7-track EP immediately, and then it was a 12-track album, and then it continued, right? So that's kind of how it is for me and how I see it, And when you have like your EP, it's kind of like, okay, now I have something that's more substantial than 5 singles, because when you have an EP, that is when you can say, okay, now I can print like a CD or stuff like that, because like that's how it used to be, right? So that's kind of how I picture things lah, So I think it's good that you guys are finally putting this EP out, because for the longest time, you've only had like releases, which is great.
Yeah, singles.
So
NJ, we are 2 months
Oh,
away
I-
from being an official artist.
Yeah, all I can
2 months
say
away.
is, I think as a listener, I'd rather you release singles and be really good stuff that you can listen to than release an EP which half the songs that people can't relate to or listen to just to qualify you as an artist. That's my point of view, lah. So yeah.
no, I mean,
to
like,
be held, I
again,
guess.
don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you release music, you're an artist already, okay? But this is personally how I equate music for myself. Yeah. So, but
It's
yeah,
like it's like a gold star. Yay! Now I've
Yeah.
been
Michelin,
validated.
Michelin.
I feel as an artist right now, it's like, I mean, I do not want to like hoot up our own horns and everything, but I feel like being an artist right now it's harder than being an artist in the past, because we have to be a content creator, we have to strategize, we have to be the best marketer, our song has to be like top notch, and with all that, and then comes the pandemic, and so we're like, oh my god, what are we doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it's everything now. It's just it's actually the same thing. It's the medium that's different now. Like back in the past, when CDs and records, or when we had shows, or even before the existence of Spotify and all these digital platforms, the way things are done is the same thing. You go out, you get shows, you promote the shows, you talk about it, you ask your friends, you invite. So the format and the act of it is still the same thing. It's just that now the medium has changed a little bit. So that's why, now the medium is online, and digital, So yeah. But yeah, I mean, anyway, let's not talk about marketing and all this music business stuff, but let's talk about your music actually, So 5 tracks, that's gonna be out soon in mid-October. You have 3 already out. And, the latest one being Next to You, maybe let's talk a little bit more about that. And then let's talk about the collab that you put out before that track came out as well.
So Next to You is something Rakesh and I approached it as a young song, a song for not necessarily young people, but anyone with a young heart who is, up for a quick. It's a very light song, but very groovy, and we wanted a running bass to sort of keep that momentum throughout the song. So you'll be hearing like a running bass from the verse all the way to the end of the song, except for the bridge. So that sort of we wanted to pop some energy into the EP, and Next to You, it's sort of the middle song in the EP where it transitions into a more youthful vibe. So the first two singles that we came out earlier this year was sort of a warm-up of our new, not to say new sound, but a more experimental sound. And Next to You is sort of a transition now to like a more solid holiday vibes. So our next single is more of a holiday vibe. I would say R&B, pop. So we just kind of threw everything into the mixture and see what good came out of it. And it's our first EP, so it was also a good time to experiment and sort of find our sound for the next few years, perhaps.
Yeah. Cool. That's cool. Yeah, because again, like I said, like your EP is kind of like that benchmark, to kind of like define you as an artist. But cool. So Next You came out about 2 weeks ago. And
Yes.
how has the response been for you guys? And tell
Yeah.
maybe you can go dive in a little bit deeper about the sounds. Because I mean you mentioned holiday, but like the sound that you kind of like went for or emulated.
So I'm always a big fan of Rhodes. So if any one of you don't know what Rhodes is, it's basically like a electric piano, but it's more muffled, and it has a jazzy kind of vibe. But it also depends on how you use it. So if you use it in a jazz context, it'll sound more jazzy. But in the case of a pop song, it kind of gives you more of a Weekend vibe, the Weekend artist vibe. So when I first had that tune in my head, it kind of spoke to me in that way. Not to say the Weekend vibe, but the Rhodes. It's I have a thing with Rhodes. So from the Rhodes, then I sort of wrote the lyrics and to kind of fit that. And it's very minimalistic as well, unlike a guitar where you can, you've got like loads of chords you can play with and textures. Rhodes, not many textures. It's within that very tight spectrum, yet it kind of gives you that laid back vibe. So Next to You is all that laid backness, but because of the running bass, like ding 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 ding, that's the running bass, it gives that momentum. So there's sort of two energies coming in together and giving you that experience.
You said it was an experimental, vibe or experimental tune of sorts. So why do you say experimental though? Is that something that you're not used to it? Would you consider it in the future?
I think experimental in a broad sense, experimental in terms of it's the first time not just coming out an EP, but the first time to work with a label, to come to work together, go to another studio, because all our lives, like as far as Monoriff's life is concerned, we record in this red room, right? Record
You got
vocals
your
here.
red room. Wow, not
Yes,
bad.
a red booth. So everything is in-house. It's the first time where we are outsourcing. So the
Exactly.
experimental part of it encompasses the working relationship as well. So it's an experience as a singer again to walk in a vocal booth that is not yours. You're out of your comfort zone, and you are to meet a certain expectations as well besides yours. So it comes off like an experiment thing. So you try certain things. The producer like, why don't you try this style, something I'm not used to, So I think in that way, for me and Rakesh as well, the songwriting to the way of singing to the type of sound, it's more of a collaboration. And this collaboration is not just Monoriff. It's also we should thank our producer Kuhn. It's his sort of contribution as well. Yeah.
And not to mention, like in a very last minute, like I was listening to the track, and the like what Inlaji said, the bass line was like it's one of the biggest what do you call it, highlight of the song. But I was really happy to be in the process of making those songs. So like I have this friend, his name is Chris. He's a producer, and he was like, dude, like, I want to help. I want to put in something into it. So because he really loved Next to You, that song. And so yeah, we had to delay the release for about a week because like we have to lengthen the process of making the song, because like suddenly out of nowhere, there's this one producer who's like, you know what, I'm not going to charge you anything, but I really love the song. I just want to have you like to have to like strengthen up the bass and everything, and maybe adding a bit of touch and here and that. And it made us a beautiful alteration to the song, and which is what you guys are hearing it right now. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kun. Thank you, Wong. So we have a lot. I think the experiment part where Neology was talking about is to work with a bunch of talented producers, a bunch of like people who helped us with the mixing of the song, with the production of the song, with the recording, and how do we also announce a certain kind of word while singing. And Jay, you had a lot of fun with Kun.
A lot of vocal classes in terms of pronouncing certain. So yes, as a singer, sometimes you're so used to singing a certain way or pronouncing words a certain way. You think it's right, but apparently your English was England all the while. You know? So retweaking that part was a bit challenging, lah.
I guess it's a whole new experience for the both of you. Now you say that the theme for the EP would be fantasy, or is it like the title of the EP?
That's the title. The theme is, I think the theme, we didn't go in with the theme really. It was just what sounded
why fantasy
cool.
though?
Why fantasy? Okay, so fantasy is that was the first song of the EP. It's a song that we've been having for quite some time in the closet, but just waiting for the right time to sort of releasing it. And I wouldn't think it's the best time really, but it just had to come out at some point. So that sort of set the precedence and the feel of the entire EP. So we wanted something. So what I had in mind with fantasy was something a bit sounds like City of Angels, or was it City or something from Lord?
Okay.
So that kind of vibe where it's a bit more urban, a bit more dreamy as well. So with that as the first song, we came up with another 10 versions of what fantasy would sound like alternatively, with different titles. So that's when, Next to You or History or, the other. And then we shortlisted and say, okay, which is the best working 5 as a family? And that became an EP.
Is there
nice.
a story behind the connection between the 5?
So we also kind of stitched the story, and then let Rakesh elaborate on this.
So Mag, if you notice, like there's this one cute creature that
Yes, I love that creature.
Yes. well, her name is Lisa, by the way.
Oh really? I don't.
Yeah.
Like, every time I speak to Darren, I'm like, I don't know what the creature is, but it's damn cute. I feel like I need to squish it, like.
So I'm guessing
Okay,
you'll be our first merchandise customer, lah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Mag, I would love to give you, because we kind of like printed out Lisa in a cute 3D keychain.
Aww.
Yeah, so I would love to give you one. No, it's not squeaky.
But-
Sadly, it's not squeaky though.
I think, bro, we should wait for the colored one to come out, then we give, lah. Now
Yeah,
it's
we should
still
give that.
Grey
Yeah,
tone.
now it's just
Not
grey
so sharp.
color and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
Lisa, why Lisa, Rakesh?
I remember like me and Analogy were like discussing like, okay, so what do we need? How should our EP be like? And then it's like, you know what? Let's not focus on ourselves, but let's focus on this one creature. It has to be cute, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we hired a 2D artist, and then she came up, and then we went back and forth, and we came up with this cute creature called Lisa. And there's a story behind it. I don't know if we have time for that, but I'm just going to say it. So Lisa basically descended from another ram, and she's all this colorful, and she came into this pale, sad world, which is our world, and where she come and sparkle with this like colors and lights and everything. Hence why, if you see that when Visas is there, there's this like beautiful colors that surrounds her, and fantasy is the explanation of like we are imagining this creature, we are imagining a savior where it gives us this, which it will evoke the sense of euphoria when people listens to our music and everything. And so fantasy and history is whereby AJ, you need to explain a bit of history first before we go to Next to You.
I think we don't have we don't need to go into too deep, but basically the whole concept was using Lisa as a medium. And why Lisa is so personal is because it's named after Rakesh's late sister, Melissa. So I
Yeah.
wanted to sort of have come from a personal side. So it's about how do we market this EP? Yes, we have the songs now, but how do we market it? You know, in terms of photo shoot, in terms of how do you package it? So I thought, let's go with this concept of having a medium, which is in a sense then how Lisa came about. So, but also give a sort of a personal touch to Lisa. Yeah, or else it could just be some random Pokemon, right? Like why Lisa?
Correct.
Why
Yeah.
why So that's why I thought, like, look, as musicians, yes, you want to market, you want to do this, you want to do that. You've got like 100,000 brilliant ideas, but you got to make something that comes from the heart. Also, it's not just about what's trendy, what's the best idea out there. Sure, it helps as a reference, but it should come from the heart. So I think that is the source of inspiration. I was quite close to Rakesh's late sister as well, and she was this bubbly person. She was this very positive, and she's always smiling, and you can never see her sad until, of course, the disease caught up on her and she passed on. So that left a big impact on me, and definitely Rakesh as a brother, right? So I think it was necessary to include Lisa in.
And also, to be honest, like I remember on 2017, me and Irachi were discussing with each other. We were like, you know what are we doing with music? Let's just close this chapter and move on with our lives and everything. And 2018 is when my sister passed away, and then we realized, like, there is no such thing as a certain goals that we're supposed to attain, because life is really precious. And so because of Melissa's death, we came back, and then we had this like a holiday. We went to Pulau Perhentian, and then it was a beautiful holiday. Only me and Anarchy, and we decided, like, you know what? Let's just continue with this. We have a lot of music in the catalog. Let's just release it. No expectations, and I feel that is where the journey of getting rid of all the expectations started. Like, we slowly disregard, this song. We're not going to expect this song to be a pop. A hit or what. We just release it because we love making songs. And so my sister's dad kind of like made Monoriff stay as it is right now.
Wow. Firstly, I'm so sorry to hear that. But secondly, thank you so much for sharing that. That's something that's so personal, yet it makes you think about life, isn't it? Life is so precious that something had to happen to make you realize that, it's time for us to take hold of life and make it the best. And now you want to share a piece of her with all of us by, sharing Lisa to the world. I love that, how you've explained that she's that, that ball of hope, or that glow, that light that shines in this very sad world that we live in. And I think we need a lot more of that, isn't it?
Agreed.
When it comes to my sister, I do know the story, but I was trying not to tell that because, like, it always makes me I have my breakdown and everything. But thanks, Technology, for bringing that up. Thank you so much for telling that.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
Cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Darren.
So I think, Meg, maybe it's time for us to preview the track next to you, and also the collab track, and then we'll talk about the collab track right after the preview is done.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Should have gotten in before you built your walls around. I'm trying to be here for you. I'm not a perfect person, I'm just human. I just want you now, I just want you here. Don't leave me now, your silence is my fear. I just want you now, I just want you here. Don't leave me now, your silence is my fear.
Very, very cool.
I love all your tracks, and I love that you guys have put all this together, and we're looking forward to an EP that's coming up in October. So much excitement. How do you feel knowing that you've actually utilized this whole year to come up with an EP, to come up with all these tracks, and to make a difference, to tell people that hey, this is Monoriff.
I feel useful and productive.
You mean all those years as Monoriff, you didn't feel useful and productive?
Nope.
Whoa.
No, it was. I mean, this is a compressed time of usefulness and productiveness. It's whereas prior to this was stretched out, almost directionless, like what Darren was saying earlier. You gotta have a goal. I didn't even know what kind of musician I wanted to be. I don't know what I see myself in 10 years. I'm like, yeah, I want to be famous, but no strategy, no planning, nothing. Just winging it, producing. So very tunnel vision. So I think this last 2 years has been like a reversal of that process. It's just very practical, making sound decisions, making not very long-term decisions where it could be very vague. So very short-term, month-to-month basis. So it's been very again, living by the day. So that's how you approach the EP or your whatever craft, your work, whatever you're doing, relationships. It's been very, very liberating.
Nice, I love that. Rakesh, anything to add to that?
I mean, I love the way how you say it. Like sometimes I do forget. Like we did a lot of things. Like I'm the guy who tend to forget. Like whenever I do something,
Forget.
Whenever I forget, like let's say if I do a project, in a matter of days I'll forget that I did that. I don't even know why. So like when you put it that way, I realized, oh yeah, we actually did that. We actually did that. We actually.
So Mac presented you a report card lah. Then you're like, oh
yeah, exactly.
Actually took the exam.
Thanks, Mac. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So this collaboration with Crazy, how did that come about?
First of all, I love his stage name. It's like, is it Crazy? Yeah, it's supposed to be Crazy, but it's Karaze. And he never corrects me. Like sometimes I'll call him, Shane, his name, or Crazy or Karaze, but he's like, whatever works, man. And that's his attitude to music. Like he is so vibrant and he respects your music angle, but he brings something different to the table as well, and that makes it such an exciting collaboration. Like I'm inspired, honestly. Someone is just 18 and who's at that age, I barely knew anything. Like I had some idea, like, look, I want to be a musician, or what do I have to do? I'm asking people one-on-one questions. They don't seem to have the answers. Back then, you don't have YouTube and stuff like this. And now you have all the resources, and Crazy has just made use of it, every aspect of it. And, as a musician now, I'm very humbled. Like it's not necessary you look up to someone with years of experience. You can look up to someone who's just starting and yet learn so much.
Yeah.
So Rakesh,
I love the way you said that though, because a lot of people don't see younger people like that. They're like, this fella's so young. What does he know? That kind of thing.
and that's the worst kind of attitude to have. To disregard just because somebody is young. I mean, I think people should always see the good in everything and see talent for talent, regardless of age. And for some strange reason, this always tend to happen from like the older generation, which is disgusting, to be honest. Like, oh, you young you don't know anything. I mean, like same like some things that's happening in the parliament all, oh, you young cannot, But we're not going to go into that but I just wanted to say that, that it's important for us to recognize talent for talent, and if something is good, if it's going to bring about change or whatever, or bring something different to the table, why not, right? So I
feel we should not disregard young people's experience and everything. I learned a lot from young people, like how to do TikTok and how to what kind of song they listen to. I mean, I learned a lot from them. They are amazing. Yeah.
So with Karaze, with Crazy, sorry, see, look at me going in Karaze again, but I mean, anyway, with Crazy, so Rakesh contacted him and was it? Wait, did he contact you or you contacted him first?
Okay, so here's the audio. The thing is that I was apparently I added him on Instagram, and I think I've discussed that with Darren. Like an artist way on how to say like, hey, nice to meet you, see you again, or never see you again. It's like, hey, we should collab together. So that's what Shane Crazy. That's what Crazy messaged me. It's like, bro, we should collab together. And I was like, yeah, sure, because that's what a lot of artists do, but it'll never happen. It might take like 2 or 3 years down the road. But guess what? That night itself, he sent a track to that. That is what made Silence my feel right now.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was surprised when he sent that to me. I was still in my car and I was listening to it. I was like, damn, this track is amazing. So I started calling
So when he
Melody,
sent the track, right, it's almost kind of done. So I'm like, so what are we supposed to do? Like, how do we come in here? But that is amazing because sometimes when they say collaboration, it means that it should be a 50-50 thing to some extent, but it never really materializes because sometimes you give it all and that person is just, touch and go. But Crazy doesn't have that attitude. And he just came up with the whole piece and we jumped right in. We added some vocals in, we added some, sort of supporting chords to it. And, it just became a perfect blend of energy and just some sort of, he had a sentimental touch to it. So the song sort of had like a nice melancholic, approach to it. And we came in, like, I always like EDM for the live performance of it. Yeah. And so when I heard this track, and it's the first time working Crazy, I'm like, I want to play this live. I want to be jumping on stage. So that's how I approached it. I want to be jumping on stage. Yes, okay, fine. Silence is my fear. It's a more deeper theme, but it has to have that energy as well. It needs to reverberate with the audience. So with that approach, we kind of gave that life into it now.
Very nice, very nice. So do you think this would pave the way for future collaborations as well with him?
Of course. Sure.
He works very well, isn't it? He has really good work ethics, and I like the fact that he's very quick. Like Rakesh, you said, most of the time people say, hey, let's collaborate, but it never happens, until like 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But this one, you ask and you get, he's like, who works that fast? But apparently he does,
It can be intimidating. Like sometimes you work with him and then you're like, okay, bro, change this. Next 10 minutes, he already sends you a voice clip. Done. And then he gives you a note. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Hey, cannot be tomorrow. You must, challenge him and do it
too bad
faster
my brain doesn't process as fast I'm a slow learner, as you all know I just told you my 10-year life story.
I did that. It could be the age factor, a little bit older than him lah.
Oh.
Trying to make yourself feel better, right?
So guys, now that everything's done, this whole collaboration's done, you've got an EP coming up soon, is there anything else that you would say Monoriff has yet to accomplish?
It's hard to imagine. Like I said, I've kind of rewired my head to just go project by project basis,
day by day.
Yeah, and just sort of approach it holistically as a musician, as an artist, as my skill set. Is it all growing simultaneously? Not just about releasing songs.
Yeah.
So when the time comes to play live, am I ready? Or am I still stuck in 2019? So taking all that into consideration, I'm really just going it by that sort of pace lah.
Rakesh, yourself?
Rakesh?
It's the same. Like to be honest, I feel like the same thing for neurology. Like I do crave performing live, and I do agree with him. When it comes to what happens when the gate opens and everything. Are we ready for live performance and everything? And also at the same time, when the gate opens, it might not be the same. I need to ask Devin how it's going to be like when the gates are open. Like there's a lot of players who have
definitely not going to be the same. That's for sure. So
everything's going to be different.
Like with SOPs and like people are even afraid to just get out to shows. Even if you do a free show, I doubt people will actually want to get out. Yeah, so it's tough, navigating this whole season right now. But you just got to prepare lah. And when the time comes, then you'll know what exactly to do lah. But right now, it's just preparing yourself and just hoping for the best lah.
Yeah.
I think no matter how prepared we are, we can never be too prepared because
Exactly.
everything just doesn't happen the way we expect it to be. But
So
guys, you know
always
what?
have options.
Yes, there are 26 letters in the alphabet, so don't just stop at plan A and B. Okay, there's so many more. Okay, guys, we're so proud of you and so happy with everything that you've accomplished the past year and a half. So, congratulations on the release of all your tracks, and super excited for what's to come in October and your future as well. So, well done. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
sharing
so
your
much. And
stories
thank
with
you,
us.
thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Darren.
A4 Radio, platforms like this. As musicians, we really need to work together like this. The media and the musicians. It's not just the musicians.
Yeah.
We are nothing if we are not here to have a chit chat and to create awareness, right? For people to know that we are
Exactly.
around or we released a new track. So now that life is off the table, this is the life, right?
Yeah.
And as Darren was saying earlier, in our previous chit chats, like artists need to take this very seriously. It's not just a webcam session. It's you putting out your whole intention and carrying yourself out there. So you got to treat it like a live performance in some aspect.
Absolutely. That's very true. I think in everything in life, we do need to give 100%. It's not like, oh, it's just online, so no need us to be so worried about it. You can
Yeah,
cincai
yeah.
me. Everything you
Yeah.
go in, prepared. So before
Yeah.
we let you go, it's time for us to play our little game. It's called What's on Your Mind. So we'll ask you quick questions, give us quick answers. There are only 4 questions, so it's pretty easy lah. Darren, you
Okay.
ready for question
Yeah.
number 1?
Cool. So the first question, okay, so we'll start with Rakesh and then we'll go neurology, okay? So the one thing you're going to do once the pandemic is over.
Take my dog out for a walk at Desa Park.
Oh,
Camping.
nice.
Camping.
All right,
nice.
okay, very nice. Mac?
Number 2, describe fantasy to you in 3 words.
Dreamy, exciting, colorful.
Neurology.
Puts me to sleep. Okay, I know that's 4 words, but sorry. In a good way. In a good way. In a good way.
All right.
He gave us the whole sentence. Get it.
Okay. All right, so 3 of your biggest fears being an artist.
Bro, that's
This one's a
hard.
tough one.
Insecure, irrelevant, and boring.
Okay.
Delusional, wrong priorities, self-absorbed.
Okay. That's pretty much like, you just summarize all artists. Every every artist is kind of insecure, kind of self-absorbed, kind of delusional as well. But such is the entertainment industry. And,
Yes.
if not, then
Precisely.
you will not be artists, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Mac, last question.
Finally, what is 3 ways that we can all be that ray of hope, positivity, love, and life to those around us?
Smile. Be the first one to call. And third is something that I always like to do is to cook for someone a meal.
Oh,
Yeah, he cooks for my birthday. Awesome. He's an awesome chef.
oh, nice.
So
Yeah,
at
do
least
you?
if music doesn't work out, you can just cook lah.
I think, bro. I think that's your true calling.
Yeah.
Neurology
Me,
yourself?
laughter, like humor. Humor is humor, like humor all the way. It's humor. Have fun. It's a bit age sensitive, the last one, so I'll just say have fun again.
Okay.
Now I'm curious what he's gonna say.
Drink and be merry. That's what you
I
actually
know
wanted to say.
what he's going to say. I know what he's
Yeah.
going to say. But no, I can't say that here.
Of course, you'll know what he's gonna say. You guys are like, you complete each other. You're yin and yang.
Oh yes.
Okay, so for those of them watching us or who have been following you, been supporting you, what do you have to say to them? What do you want to say to them?
I mean, thank you so much, like for listening to our music, and if it makes you happy, if it because I do know a lot of people when they listen to the music and they say like, oh my god, you guys are amazing, and I know it doesn't mean a lot when you say that, but it means a lot to us. So thank you so much.
Oh, what can I say? I think really just have fun listening, and I just hope we can catch up in some way. Sometimes it feels very one way, like we're singing to people. It's very one way communication. It almost feels like we should all just sit down on a big table, and okay, I think for Monoriff a medium sized table is enough. and just chit chat and just get to know each other. Really, that's one of the things I would love to do.
And me and LG will be making pandan leaf tea for you guys. If you guys
Pandan
come
leaf
and meet
tea.
us.
Wow. That
Yeah,
sounds like
man.
the 3-layer tea from Sarawak, like that. Something.
Yeah, but less fancy lah. Just from
That's fancy, yeah.
Okay, now I want to ask about Lisa, though. I mean, what do you hope Lisa would bring to all your listeners?
Joy, happiness, and hope. And I know you guys need a lot of hope in this pandemic. Like, yeah, Lisa will be always there for you. She's you can use a filter, and she'll be there, always smiling for you guys. Yeah.
So if you think Lisa doesn't look good enough because she's not entirely complete, it's all budget issues. So forgive us for that. Make it up by buying the plush toy. So the soft toy.
Yeah.
So
that-
apparently
that-
there's merch coming up soon. You want to tell us
Yes,
more about
yes.
that?
Could be a bolster, could put you to sleep if you have insomnia problems, etc.
Cool. I
Alright,
don't.
guys.
I don't think that many people have actually made bolsters as merchandise, right? So you guys could probably be the first.
Could be the
T-shirts, CDs. Those are all very common. Plushies not as common, but there have been some. But bolster. I think that's gonna be a winner, lah.
Yeah, give Monoriff a hug.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Wow.
I like that. Very creative. Well, all I can say is that's one thing that's going to attract them, to your EP as well. Because, even if they've not heard your music, it'd be something that would lead them to listen to your music. And then that's there, they're hooked the moment you get them there already. So,
In
once
other
again,
words,
congratulations.
it's a bait lah. Lisa's a bait lah.
A cute
Lisa's the
babe,
best
bro.
friend, more like it, because she's so cute. Yeah, so cute. So thank you guys so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I wish you all the best, and keep doing what you do. And you guys are amazing. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so
us
much, guys, for
on
having us.
AFO Radio.
Hey, Darren. Thank you, Meg.
All right. See you guys, man.
You guys take
Yes.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so there you go, the guys from Monoriff right here on Pop-Up Stage on this beautiful Friday. Now, if you've not listened or you've not heard of any of their songs, please go check them out. They're available on all your platforms, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. Go check them out and then go listen to their music. I think it's streaming on all the major platforms as well. Correct, Derek?
Yep, that is right. So, it's good stuff, that you guys should check out. And it's also on the playlist that I've created called New Malaysian Releases on Spotify. So go on, check that out as well. Follow it, okay? Because new songs get added to it all the time. And it's actually going to be I foresee it as being a good release, a good playlist,
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely follow it, check out. Alright, cool. So, speaking of the playlist, for pop-up picks today, we have 2 songs for you guys to enjoy during the weekend. But at the same time, there are over 210 songs that you guys can enjoy the entire playlist pretty much. Okay, so that's like many hours of music for you guys, right? So
The road
let's
trip
check.
playlist.
Yeah,
To and fro.
let's check these 2 out. The first one is by an artist who is also a basketball player. Now, when we were playing basketball, like last year, and the years before that, I might have played with her as well. I don't know, because some of the girl basketball players would come and just join us as well. So check it out. This is Irma Suleiman. Okay, her new track's called Away From Here. I have gone to her Instagram and stalked her a little bit. She's actually performed at No Black Tie and all that before, but I'm surprised that I don't know about her. But it's alright, because we're checking
you
her
say you
out
play
today.
basketball with her and you don't know about her.
I don't know. When I played basketball with her, I did know that she was a singer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I said I might have played. So, all right, cool. Let's check it out.
Miles away. Told myself endlessly I will find another way, but it doesn't seem to be working. Away from me, away from me.
What a cool change.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Makes you feel like you're in an 80s movie, you know? But yeah.
But there's a very sexy vibe to it as well.
Yeah,
I like.
yeah.
I like it.
Now, this is one of the many tracks that she's actually put out. So she's been putting out music since, well, she actually has an album in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised I didn't know about this. But yeah, I mean, would definitely want to hear more of her, and yeah, y'all should go and follow her as well. So check that out. Okay, cool. Now this last one is a very cool one. She's not in Malaysia right now, but she's in the UK. But she is the sister of Rendra Zawawi. Okay, so Rendra has been involved in he's been in US for a long time, and he helped write a lot of soundtracks and all that. And Ola Bola was actually one of those that he helped produce, right? So, and a bunch of other things he's done, like I think with Disney and all that. So he's a big deal lah. So Kai has also been on BBC and all that in the UK. So she's quite I mean she's quite a big deal also lah. So this track is called Hate You Too. Let's check it out.
I see the way you look at me, like I'm your responsibility. Don't need a sugarcoat it, don't need a sugarcoat it. I'm just here to have a good time, taking us to place. I just need my own space, yeah. You always ruin the high. Yeah, the damage is done, the damage is done. Let me live my life my own way. Few years down the line, I'll get there.
Very cool track. I mean, you guys want to hear more? That should be the soundtrack of your weekend. So go on, check it out. It's on that playlist that I just mentioned, various times. So yeah,
I just
if you guys
realized that
are-
it is the weekend.
yeah,
I didn't
and I'm
realize
excited that it's
until
the
you
weekend,
mentioned
you know. And I just want to take a break and just shut down, because that's what I did last weekend and it was good. So
Nice.
yeah, I hope you guys enjoy and have a good weekend. Continue staying safe. And just if you're going out, please follow the SOPs. And I just read a piece of news earlier on saying that it's a photo of a receipt of a person who kena COVID and stayed in hospital for 47 days, and the amount came up to about 300 over thousand. All right. So and then there was another comment that said, well, to avoid this, just stay at home and don't kena COVID, okay? So yes, if you don't want to spend money that you can actually use to buy a house, don't go out and be unnecessary and all that lah. Well, let's all be safe. And if you're an artist and you want to get your music on here, you want to come on and have a chat with us, Pop Up Stage MY is the email to send to. So drop us all your details and all that stuff, okay?
That's
So
right.
that's
Thank you
it.
so much for joining us this afternoon on Pop Up Stage. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, right here on AFO Radio. Bye bye.